This is David Seltzer and Ellen Bell from AngelsWin.com speaking today with Alex Yarbrough. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Can you tell the fans a little bit about where you played beforehand and how you came to be with the Angels?
Sure, yeah. I went to Ole Miss for 3 years. Absolutely loved it. I wanted to go somewhere in the SEC if I could out of high school, and I was lucky enough to get to play all 3 years there at Ole Miss and had a great time, but I knew that I was ready for the next level after my junior year. And I honestly didn't really talk to the Angels too much compared to some of the other major league clubs before the draft. But I talked to their area scout about probably about 2 weeks before the draft, and said they were interested, and said they liked me a little bit. So, and then the draft day, they called me, so it was a great experience for sure.
They were aggressive with you as well. They started you off at Cedar Rapids. What is that as an infielder? I mean, you're playing against guys probably a year and a half, 2 years older than you.
Right.
What was that like for you?
It was a great experience. The competition level at the SEC is great, and that really helped prepare me for this. Obviously, it's a huge step up still from the SEC to go straight below A. But it was good. It helped that I had Eric Stamets was up there with me. My middle infield partner also got picked last year, and so we kind of did everything together. And it was nice to have a guy standing 15 feet away from me in the infield to be going through the same thing with me. But it was a great experience, and I was really felt blessed to be able to start at a low A last year.
How important is that to you as an infielder to have that stability in a relationship with a player as you're developing through the organization?
It's big, and Eric and I have become really good friends, and he rides with me to the park every day, and we do almost everything together off the field. But sometimes I feel like it's too big of a deal is made out of it. Sometimes the continuity, but at the same time it is big. It's when you can look over in a tight situation and know exactly who you're working with and how he goes about his business. So I like it a lot.
What part of your game do you take the most pride in? Hitting, fielding, running? What would you take the most pride in?
I feel like I bring both to the table at the plate. Consistently putting the ball in play and making hard contact, and putting balls in gaps and hopefully riding a few out of the park. But that's I take pride. Obviously, every player does in everything they do on the field. But hitting's really where I feel like I make my mark the most.
What do they have you working on the most right now?
Hitting, probably, keeping my head back, making sure I'm not jumping at the ball. I feel like hand-eye coordination is something that I was blessed with. I've probably above average hand-eye, but sometimes I can get to jumping at the ball and trying to go get it as opposed to just relaxing and letting the ball come to me at the plate.
My son plays Little League and he loves playing middle infield. So what tips would you give him?
As a middle infielder, especially growing up, it can be a mistake-ridden position for sure. Anywhere on the infield, not saying that outfield isn't difficult and doesn't come with its problems, but it can be tough, especially as a little kid, to stick your nose in front of the ball and try and come get you. Obviously, you want to try and come get it as much as possible, and it can be tough to do that. But once you get the hang of that, it's a fun position to play for sure.
So let's move a little bit to the lighter side.
Sure.
I noticed you had some quotes on your arm. Can you tell the fans a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I got this quote here. It's I got soul, but I'm not a soldier, and it's just something. It's a quote by the Killers from one of their songs, and it really spoke to me. I thought a long time about it. It's been one of my favorite songs. It was my walk up in college. It's from a song called All These Things That I've Done, and it's just kind of a quote that spoke to me for a while, and I thought a long time. That was the first tattoo that I got, and I thought about it for a long time before I got it. And then I also have put aside all anxious thoughts and be at peace along here. And I got something. I got that as well as these roses here. My uncle passed away last October in his 40s, and it was just it was something that kind of reminded me of him, and it's got a lot of meaning for sure.
Would you say you model your style of play after any player, or?
Derek Jeter has always been my favorite player since I was, since I knew what baseball was. Pretty much, I know that's a pretty common answer. He's obviously a shortstop and has some different tools from me, but the way he carries himself, especially, is something. He never shows emotion. If it's a walk-off hit or something like that, you'll see him give a little fist bump or something like that. But if he gets out, he strikes out. If he goes a week without getting a hit, he looks exactly the same as if he's been hitting 500 for the last month. So he's definitely a guy that I try and model myself after. And obviously the championships are pretty good too. So
who's emerging as a leader on this team?
Brian Hernandez is an older guy on this team that's been a leader. Same thing with Ryan Jones, another older guy who's been here. This is his second time here. Those two guys have stepped up well. Some other guys on the pitching staff, guys like Ty Kelly and Sappington are guys that people definitely look to as well.
I hear Sappington's the biggest comic on the team.
Yeah, he's a little silly from time to time, but it's all in good fun. And whenever he's on the mound, you're going to get 100% from him every night. And he's a great guy to play defense behind.
You guys are about to go on the road, right?
Yeah.
What's that experience like? What's a typical day on the road for you?
Well, there's certainly longer days. I think we go to Lancaster next, and I think it's about an hour and 45 trip, and we go back and forth. So there's certainly longer days, but like in the Midwest League, the shortest trip we had some short ones that were in Iowa, but we had also some that were 8 to 10, 11 hours long. And it's a little bit shorter here, and most of our trips here are commuters, so it's really not bad. You get to bond with the guys a little bit on the bus, and especially when you win, those bus rides are fun. So we love playing here at St. Manuel Stadium, but going on the road can be fun too.
Perfect day in the off season would include.
Probably just probably sleeping in a little bit. You get used to waking up pretty early during the season, so sleeping in a little bit. Probably hanging out with my family if I can. I've got grandparents in San Antonio that I like to see as much as possible, and my parents as well. So doing something around the house. I live back in Dallas area. Some of my parents or friends back at home would be great.
Well, hopefully they'll all be able to see it on our website. Everyone at angelswin.com is pulling for you. We want you to have a good year. Look forward to seeing you in Anaheim soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you much.
Thank you, guys.